All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be tackling a special question subject, which one of you guys asked. So, on my Facebook, I also again asked, hey, what special video you want me to make? And so, there was a very interesting question which I had to take a snapshot of. I can't remember. I'm old. Stop it. So it says by Samir Myra, I really want to know how you can judge the favorable and unfavorable nature of malefics with good dignities. It is a topic which doesn't seem to have a clear understanding. Example, how would an exalted Saturn in the fourth house of Cancer ascendant affect the house it is positioned in, the house it aspects, and the house it rules? Is this to be favorable or unfavorable? Well, Samira, this is a $12.65 question, which I'm going to answer for you today for free. Okay? And as always, if you do not know where your astrological placements are, and so you can know if your planet is in favorable, good dignity or not. For that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, include my books, consultations, and link to my Academy, Magnetic Astrology Academy, which I today finally made the last video. That's it. Today I made the last video, and then whoever completes the course, they can also get the certificate at the end. And so now whoever joins, you get the full, kid and caboodle. So anyway, let's tackle your question. So the way you understand this is actually if you read the book Laghu Parashri, it tells you a very good principle about how to judge the good dignity of malefic planets, even benefic planets, because it's all based on the ascendant. What is your ascendant? Okay. So for example, for Aries ascendant, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Sun become very good. For Taurus ascendant, Mercury, Saturn, and Sun become good. For Gemini ascendant, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn become good. So let's just take these three. So in the first one, Mars, Moon, Sun, and Jupiter became good. Okay? And actually, I'm sorry. Moon is actually neutral. Moon is not really great for Aries ascendant. It's neutral. It depends upon its dignity of being either waxing or waning, or being associated with the malefic or benefic. So I'll give you an example for Taurus ascendant. In Taurus ascendant, it is said that when a benefic planet controls a Kendra, the quadrant house, and especially it also controls a Dushtana house, like 6th, 8th, or 12th house, it loses its ability to give benefic results. So for Taurus ascendant, Venus, the ascendant lord itself, is not considered great for itself unless it's creating some yoga. So, and for Aries ascendant as well, Saturn rules a 10th house of career, 11th house of gain. But the problem is Saturn is a Bhadakesh, meaning it causes obstruction. The 11th house, it teases the Aries ascendant. Oh, you want gains? I'll give it to you. Nah, I'll give you maybe when you work 20 times as hard. That's Bhadakesh. Oh, you want the desire of higher status? Okay, go for it. See how easy it is to get it. That's Bhadakesh. So when we're studying malefic planets, like example you gave, Saturn exalted in the fourth house for Cancer ascendant person. And this is something I was reading a book of B.V. Raman. I think it's called My Astrological Journey or my something with that. And in that book, he said that whenever a malefic planet controls a Kendra and a Dushtana house, it actually becomes neutral for that particular ascendant and does well if it's in a good placement. So for Cancer ascendant, Saturn rules which houses? 7th house and 8th house. Kendra and Dushtana. So it becomes neutral. Then it's exalted in the 4th house. So how would you understand this concept? Well, the way to understand is, first of all, we have to see when is it that a person is going to run through the dasha of Saturn. So let's say you are running through the dasha of Saturn. So how will you judge this? Well, number one, we will judge this Saturn from the ascendant. Number two, we will judge this Saturn from the moon. Number three, we will look at its dignity in the Navamsha. Is it strong or weak in producing results? Then, because it's a malefic planet, regardless of how good it does, it will naturally bring its significance into play. I don't care if any malefic planet is debilitated, exalted, Multrikon, in its own sign. For me, it does not matter. Malefic, no matter what, does what its DNA is. You got to understand, just because Saturn is exalted doesn't mean it changes from Saturn to Uranus. Doesn't mean it changes from Saturn to Jupiter. Saturn is going to be Saturn. So what Saturn does, Saturn's natural significance is to bring delay, duty, commitment, sacrifices, organization, discipline, structure. So it'll bring that in the 4th house. Things related to the 4th house will be delayed. In your Saturn period, you want a car? Okay, you can get a car, but there's going to be some delays and there's going to be some obstacles that you're going to deal with regardless. And in the end, because it's exalted, and let's say it has a good sign placement in the Navamsha, fine, it'll give you a Mercedes-Benz. It'll give you a BMW. But it gives that with hurdle. Then, the other malefic things, like you were talking about the aspect, Saturn's 3rd aspect will be on the 6th house. Which means it definitely brings karma related to your health, wellness, nutrition. On the other hand, Saturn also has the ability to destroy the significance of that house by its aspect. Meaning, not only can destroy your health, but it'll also destroy your enemies, your obstacles, your debts. So you see how it's never a good thing that a one planet does. It'll give good, then bad, and good, and good, and good, and then bad, and then good. That's how life is. That's how it rolls. Saturn's 7th aspect will be in the 10th house. That means one will have to deal with karma related to bosses and authorities. It activates your career. Because Saturn's 7th aspect is good. Why? Because it's the aspect where Saturn naturally finds its Digbala, the directional strength. Because in the 7th house, Saturn finds its directional strength. So whenever Saturn aspects any place 7th from itself, it gives you direction through that house. So it gives direction in the 10th house. But it is a malefic planet. It is going to bring you hurdles related to bosses and authorities. Its 10th aspect of karma is in the ascendant from the 4th house. Which means you are going to have to deal with responsibility, make sacrifices, have duty and commitment in all areas of your life, not just one. Doesn't matter if Saturn just rules the 7th and 8th house and sits in the 4th house. All areas of your life for those 19 years, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You just cannot walk your path normally. But does this mean that this person is going to be crying for 19 years and feel like, oh my God, what's going on? No, you might see this person drive by in a 7 Series BMW 1 year, and then 2 years later, you see them again, you see them with a Maserati. At the same time, their business is flourishing. But when you sit down with them for 2 days, you talk to them, they're like, well, I have to deal with this, and I have this issue going on. And of course, me and my wife, we're just constantly fighting, and this is what's happening. So Saturn is bringing its significance. But now also, is this all that a malefic planet will do? No, because now you got to see it from the moon. So let's say from the moon, let's say moon is in the sign of Virgo. So now what you're going to do is you're going to study this malefic effect of this good planet from the moon. So from the moon, Saturn goes into the second house, exalted. Saturn aspects the 4th, 7th, and 11th house. Saturn rules the 5th and 6th house from the moon. And here it kind of becomes a quasi type planet. Saturn is not really in the best of placement for Virgo. Why? Because it rules the 5th house with its own sign. Fine. It's a nice dharmic house. But it also rules the 6th house with its Mool Trikon sign of debts, obstacles, enemies, perhaps litigation. Okay? All kinds of obstacles, health issue, fights. Yet it is exalted in the second house, and we get the fact that it is good. We looked in the Navamsha, it's in the sign of Aquarius. We looked in the Navamsha, perhaps it's also Vargottama and exalted, which becomes even more powerful. But does that mean that all the negativity of a planet goes away? That is not right. That is not right to analyze it that way. It will always bring its maleficness. So when it aspects the 4th house, you most definitely will have issues with dealing with land, your mother, and fights within the home. Fight after the marriage, home after the marriage. Saturn will bring, most definitely will bring very stagnant relationship with the in-laws. Saturn will also make you work towards attaining joint assets. And because it's in the 11th house, shows in this period, in order for you to also gain your status and money, you're going to need help of your professional network circles. But because it's exalted, it also helps you to understand money. So when I see it from the moon, I'm like, this person's going to become very stingy in this particular dasha. They're not going to want to, if they were spending $60 on lunches, they're going to spend $15 on a lunch when Saturn starts, because they're going to learn the value of money. Now, will this Saturn make them wealthy, rich? Even if it has a good dignity, that does not mean the person's going to get all the wealth in the world. First, you've got to see how many points, as in total Sarvashtak Varga points, how many points it gives 11th from itself. Okay, so if it's giving 31 points, it's good. 32 points is good. It gives 48 points, 47 points. Boy, you know this person's going to get some sort of a recognition and gains in this particular period. Is Saturn making a Dhan Yoga? Either by nakshatra placement or conjunction. So if, let's say Saturn is in the nakshatra of Chitra, in Libra, in the 4th house. Well, it's going to not only do the things that it's doing, is giving results of the 10th house, 5th house, and where Mars is placed. And if Mars is in the 2nd house, 11th house, you bet Saturn's going to give money. Then, in order to really see the money and gain, look at the Eka Dasamsa chart. You can look at the normal Eka Dasamsha or Ayar Eka Dasamsha. And in that, if Saturn is in a placement of causing a Dhan Yoga, meaning yoga for giving wealth, it will give you wealth. And this is how we understand. So even if you take Mars in that placement, so Mars is in good dignity. What is Mars is going to do? How can we see is Mars is in a good dignity or not? Like I said, it could be in the worst of dignity or the best of dignity. Mars is going to do what Mars DNA is about. It's about piercing and poking. Meaning Mars is a planet with a sphere. When he sits with any planet, he will poke them. So if it's a moon, they will poke the moon. If it's Venus, it'll poke Venus. Meaning in this, when Mars period starts and you're in your 20s, oh boy, you're going to have a heartbreak. You bet your bottom dollar you're going to have a heartbreak. Mars makes you pierce through that. If it's with the sun, you're going to feel this pain through your father or through the government or through an authority. Mars is with Jupiter. You are going to feel pierced by the guru. Perhaps you either run into a very aggressive, abusive guru, or the guru that you run into is not just a nice, peaceful guru. It makes you work. It makes you work so badly that you just feel like I don't want to be a spiritual person. It gives you pain through all the Jupiterian significance at least once or twice. Now, let's say it's exalted. Is this not going to do that? No, it is going to do that. It is going to, whether it aspects a planet or conjunct a planet, it will pierce that planet. But because it's exalted, no matter what the circumstances or problems are, a person will steer through them like a soldier, like a fighter. And let's say we analyze Navamsha and we realize that, okay, this is a great malefic Mars. So what is it going to do? Well, it's still going to do its Martian thing. But also on the good side, it is going to make you more confident and determined. And so this is where you can fail when you're looking at an exalted planet and seeing why is it giving such bad results. It's like, for example, Jupiter exalted for Taurus ascendant. And let's say moon is also in Taurus. That means from the ascendant and the moon, Jupiter rules, first of all, two bad houses. 8th house and the 11th house, which is known as a trick house. And then it's also sitting in one of the trick houses. So this particular Jupiter is not really going to be the most benefic Jupiter for this person. And let's say if it has a neutral dignity or a good dignity, Jupiter is naturally going to bring its significance into play. You're going to feel very hopeful, inspired, and optimistic about your communication, about your hidden wealth, about your gains. You're going to feel like, yes, I can achieve any success I want and do anything I want. Will feeling that way actually give you the result that you're feeling? That's the big elephant in the room. Sure, you're feeling happy, fine. Is Jupiter giving you anything? When for this, things get a little bit complicated. You have to know all these things about Ashtak Varga. You got to know things about divisional charts. And obviously, this is what I teach in my academy, in Magavedic Astrology Academy. And I'm going to go into more detailed lessons next year. I'm going to pick a particular subject, dive all deep into it. So we'll be discussing nothing but that subject. When we go into transit, boom, I'm just going to focus on transit and nothing more. So whenever you're looking at the fact that how do we understand the good or bad dignity if a planet is good, well, it's going to bring both. It's never, hardly ever the case that a planet will only do good, and never do bad. And especially if it's a malefic, it's his DNA. It's his DNA. Why do you want it? It's like a wolf coming to your doorsteps to be your friend. And you're telling the wolf, I don't want you to hunt anymore. I'm going to feed you this vegetarian food. I'm going to feed you this nice sattvic food. Well, you're doing the biggest sin for the wolf, because wolf's DNA is to attain its food through tamasic means. That is the purity of the wolf. And so when you as an astrologer are looking at this graha and you're trying to make that graha, which is a wolf, into a sheep or a cow, well, you're mistakenly, you're making the biggest mistake in terms of knowing the fact that I'm an astrologer and I'm dealing with astrology. Because when that wolf period starts, it is going to be a wolf. But perhaps that wolf has a gift for you. It has, let's say, 2, rabbits it hunted for you. And it wants to gift it to you that, hey, thank you for doing the good karma in past life. I know I'm going to be here in your house for the next 19 days. But, and I'm going to be hunting. I'm going to be making a bloody mess out here and eating my food. But here, I want to share my gift with you. And if you're a non-veg, you'll be like, wow, a pair of bucket of twos, like Samwise Gamgee says in Lord of the Rings. And then you'll make a stew. And then your pet, Gollum will say, "Stupid fat hobbit! Oh, he destroyed it!" So yes, this is how we understand planets. Never ever think that just because a planet is exalted or debilitated, it's only going to do bad, 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 or good, good, good. Just look at its karkavastha. Look at its significance. And not to mention, what are you looking for with Saturn in the fourth house? Are you trying to judge something with property or car and vehicle or mother? Well, you got to understand the karka becomes the most important thing. Karka says yes or no. So karka for, let's say, property is Mars and moon, especially Mars being number one. If Mars says no property, you can have an exalted Saturn in the fourth house. You can have exalted Jupiter in the fourth house. Because what it says when the planet says yes, you are able to get what you want. The planet sitting in the fourth house or the fourth lord will show you the quality of what you are to get. So Venus being the karka of marriage says yes or no. Planets in the seventh house, the seventh lord will say this is the quality of what you're getting. So yeah, you're getting married, but you're going to be married to a horrible spouse. This is how, so when you are looking at any house or any planet, ask yourself, what am I judging here? Am I judging the mother here? Okay, so where's the moon? Okay, now let me go to Dwadasamsa chart. Let me look at the fourth lord. Let me look at which rishi that moon is placed in, or my fourth lord is placed in Dwadasamsha. These are the things that once you know this, then life just becomes easy. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my answer to a very good question, actually, that I used to look for myself until I learned it. And I'm like, okay, beautiful. So hopefully this has helped. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. And if you want to know what your planet replacements are, your Ashtaka Varga, my consultations, and if you want to join the academy, just check out the links here under shop section. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.